Hi, my name is Daniel Cunningham, and this is Pain That Heals. This is my first recording. This is my first upload. This is the first step in the journey that I've wanted to share. And that journey is my own personal journey. And before we kind of get into it, my reason for doing this is not necessarily for personal gain, but my reason for doing this is to inspire and to motivate people that are hurting. We're living in a time right now in this country with COVID, with all the protesting, with all the divide, and it's really affecting individuals mentally, physically, spiritually. And so the impact that I want this documentation and this journey to have is using my story to help others. And my goal for this is to touch 1 million people. My goal for this is for 1 million people to see this video and for it to inspire them. That is the goal here. The goal is to serve others. So over the course of these next several weeks, each day I'm going to be uploading content, sharing with you my journey, sharing with you the knowledge that I'm gaining from other individuals. None of this is just necessarily coming from me. This is coming from other people that I have seeked out, that I've spoken to, that I've taken notes on. And so hopefully this does something for you, okay? So I'm a 37-year-old teacher. I'm a 37-year-old parent. I'm a 37-year-old individual that is looking to do something more. And currently right now, I am in school getting my master's degree in exercise science. That's the health and wellness part. And I'm also, again, like I said, a retired basketball coach, head basketball coach here in the state of Oklahoma. And so I got to this place from Houston, Texas. I was originally born in Germany, where my father served in the military and my mother grew up. And then we moved to Houston once my dad retired from the military because that's where he was from. And that's where I lived from the ages of 5 to 18 years old. During that time period, I did what every other typical boy did in the state of Texas. I played football, I played basketball, I ran track, I did all these things. And by the time I got to high school, I zoned in on basketball because that was my passion, that was my love, that was what inspired me to be better. And over the course of the 4 years in high school, I was lucky enough to eventually, by the time I was a junior, start going to church. And I went to church because of a girl, because of a woman. That's typically what a lot of us guys do. But I went there and I started to find out things about myself. I started to become inspired by the Word of God and His teachings and the things that He was telling me to do. And I ran to it. I grew up in a home that was very intense all the time. And so I was looking for something to calm me down, to make me to challenge myself and to think. And that's what church did for me. And within that, I knew I wanted to play college basketball. I knew I wanted to do that for another 4 years. And within going to church, I eventually started playing on this church basketball team that led me to an all-star team in the city of Houston that we took to Bethany, Oklahoma, where we competed in a basketball tournament at Southern Nazarene University. From that, I was lucky enough to receive a $1,000 scholarship, okay, to play basketball at Southern Nazarene University on their JV team. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to be on that varsity, but I took it because that's what I wanted to do. And so I moved up here in the year 2001, and for 2 years I played basketball on the JV team, never really making it to that varsity team. Practiced with them a few times, but it just didn't ever work out. And after my sophomore year, our basketball program had a coaching change who brought in a head coach from Nebraska. He was an assistant coach at Nebraska. Big props to Coach Broughton, who gave me my start in my journey. And what happened was when he came in, I was no longer going to be playing basketball anymore. But he approached me and told me, I heard you wanted to coach. He was like, why not be a student assistant within our program? And I said, all right, yeah, let's do that. And that was the most humbling experience of my life. I went from playing basketball on the JV team by the way, we were really good, to becoming the equipment manager for our school's basketball program. So I was doing laundry. I was putting all their equipment, their uniforms and things of that nature in their locker room. So think about that. You're going from playing with some of these guys and practicing with them on a daily basis to where now you're taking care of their laundry. And that was extremely humbling. But it taught me a lot. It taught me service for others. And big ups to all those individuals that I was doing that for. Those guys never made me at one time feel inadequate. They never at any point in time made me feel like I was beneath them. They were all good individuals that I truly did care about and wanted to see succeed, and they wanted to see me succeed. But within all doing that, Coach Broughton allowed me to go scout other teams. He allowed me to go and watch film. He allowed me to sit on the bench and take notes and start to really nourish that coaching desire that I had ever since I was a senior in high school. And so within that, he did all these things for me that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. It gave me the confidence that, hey, man, I can do this. But this is where my story kind of turns and where I want to help people out. So after basketball, once my career was over, I was shattered. I was hurt. This is the first time that I wasn't going to have and be able to participate in the only thing that I've ever known, which was sports. My only other desires was to be a coach. I really didn't have any other meaning, I guess, or purpose, to be quite honest with you. And so I turned to a lot of negative things. And you can use your imagination on what those things are, but I was doing any and everything to take my mind off of that pain that I was having, that I was feeling. And so over the course of the next couple of years, my senior year in college, I no longer wanted to do the student assistant thing anymore. So I went away from it. I eventually graduated, but I was still doing all these excessive things that were not filling my soul. All these excessive things that were making me more sad, but I didn't realize it at the time. At the time, I was enjoying myself. And so, story fast forward, I was lucky enough to graduate college. I got through it somehow. And I was able to nab my first coaching job, coaching high school girls basketball as an assistant JV coach. The individual that gave me that opportunity was an individual that I did my student teaching with. And she came to me one day and was like, hey, I just became the head coach at this school. Well, you want to be my assistant coach? And I said, absolutely. So I went in for an interview. I got the job and I began my coaching career. And over the course of the next 5 years, we had some successful teams. And I learned a lot from this person. And I knew at that particular time, after that 5th year, I was like, man, I really want to go out and be a head coach. But all I've known was girls basketball. And I've always wanted to coach boys basketball. But I was like, there's not going to be a way that I can transition into this boys basketball program of coaching. I'm going to go look for a girls head job. Now, mind you, throughout all this time, I'm still doing a lot of excessive things. In between that time, I had friends pass away from addiction. I had friends that died in violent incidences, whether it was car wrecks or being shot. A lot of turmoil going on. And I didn't know how to process this stuff. I didn't know how to handle it. And so I turned to a lot of excessive things that were detrimental to me, not knowing that it would eventually lead to a really bad place. But in the meantime, I was fortunate enough and blessed to get a head coaching job coaching girls. And we didn't have the most successful teams. My first year, we won more games than they won the previous 4 years. And then the next year, we lost more. And then my 3rd year as a head coach, we went 1-23. 1-23. But I was working my tail off day in and day out and trying to figure out how can we get on the right side of things. And after my last year of coaching, I got a phone call. And the phone call was from the head boys basketball coach at the school that I initially started coaching girls basketball at. Now, this gentleman by the name of A.D. Birchie is a legend in the state of Oklahoma. He has coached many of professional players, has sent many of kids to college, has many accolades, won several state championships, several state runner-ups, was all-state coached the McDonald's All-American team. And he calls me and says, after my 1 in 23 year, I want you to come and be my assistant for the next couple of years, eventually taking over to be the head coach. I was like, this man talking to me? Did he not see the record that my team had? But I also looked at it like, this is the opportunity that I was looking for. And so I resigned from that girls' position, moved on, and I took that assistant position. This was right after my son was born as well. And that's when I knew I wanted to make that transition. And so I went. And for the next 2 years, I studied under this man how to operate, how to talk to individuals, how to work with individuals, how to be a coach, how to be a man, how to be a professional, and more importantly, how to be a servant of others. And then, of course, after that 2 years, I was fortunate enough to get that head boys basketball position. And mind you, this is taken after over an individual with all these accolades. And so for the next 4 years, I was the head coach. And we had decent teams. We won my first year. My second year, we won a little bit more. My third year, we won one more game more. And because of the individuals that I was coaching in that third year, we won a regional championship. We won a state champion. We didn't win a state. We won a regional championship. We won an area championship, and we made it to the state tournament. And this was the first time that the school has been back to the state tournament in 6 years. With that, we ended up losing that first game of the state tournament, but it was so impactful for everybody around us. It was the greatest accomplishment that I've had up to that point in my entire life, besides my 2 kids. Mind you, through all of this, I'm still doing a lot of excessive things because I just wasn't happy. But how am I not happy? We were champions. We got to the state tournament. I was able to coach the all-state team. I was able to coach the all-city team. These are all things that I have mapped out for myself since high school. But I wasn't happy. Why am I not happy? I couldn't answer these questions. I wasn't happy in my marriage. Not because of her. It was all because of me. I wasn't happy as a parent. Not because of my kids. It was because of me. I wasn't happy as a teacher, as a coach, as a friend, as a son, as a brother. So what is going on up here that I couldn't handle this life? And I didn't want it anymore. And so I didn't have the answers. Fast forward to my 4th year as the head coach. We eventually have a 500 season. I was miserable the whole year. I didn't understand what was going on. Here I am doing the job that I wanted. I had the life that I envisioned for myself, and I wasn't happy. So I resigned from that head coaching position right before COVID hit back in March. And so over the course of the last several months, from March all the way up until now, I've been searching for answers on why I'm not happy. I'm going through a divorce now. My kids, I no longer live with them every single day. It's shared custody. And here I am in this position. And I'm searching for answers. I'm looking up all these articles. I'm going to school to get my exercise science degree because I know I want that, but I don't know what I want to do with it. And fast forward to now, and I'm like, I'm figuring this out. I want to help people. I want to serve others. I want to create generational wealth, not just for my own family, but for other people. And wealth doesn't have to mean money. Health is spirituality. Health is mental clarity. Health is feeling good and purposeful about yourself and who you are and what direction you want to go. And so as these things started to come to me, I was starting to get myself out of this dark place I was in. whatever you want to call that place. Some people call it depression. Some people call it anxiety. Some people call it self-hate. It was all those things for me. I hated who I was. I hated who I was looking at in the mirror every single day. I told myself I'm doing good things, but I didn't feel good about who I was. Not as a parent, not as a significant other, not as a friend. I was putting a lot of people through pain and misery from my own actions. But I was also a victim. At least that's what I was telling myself. Everything was everybody else's fault. That's why you can't get this, that, or the other done. Everything is someone else's fault. And here I am. I'm in debt because I moved out of my house. I'm still doing excessive things because I don't understand. I'm running away from something. I've lost my way. How do I get it back? And so again, studying psychology in my exercise science program, studying sports psychology, and then now I'm starting to learn how the brain works, and these things are extremely fascinating to me. And so now I'm feeling like I can figure out what's wrong with me. I can figure this stuff out. And so I continue my education with it. And here I am right now today talking to all you guys, and all I can think about is I want to help somebody else get out of their dark place. I want to help people who might not necessarily be in a dark place further advance themselves and the people around them. And so you're starting to see all of this movement going on in the world and in society where there's a lot of people out there that have the same mission. And that mission is to impact others in whatever way that might be. And for me, that impact is sharing my story with you guys. That impact is getting my exercise science degree so I can help individuals with their health and wellness, mentally, physically, spiritually. And also, I know this is kind of out left field, but to get a real estate license and eventually own property and have my own building where people can come there and learn about all these things as well. Because as a teacher, I can tell you now that the educational system needs to teach our kids. They need to teach them how to cope with failure, how to handle defeat, how to inspire yourself and move yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's what our schools need to be doing. You need your general and traditional education of math, science, knowing history so we don't repeat bad things. But we also need to be teaching individuals how to live in society in this world. Because let's be honest, our world is designed to make us run, go, rip, move, boom, 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 but never to sit still with yourself. Be in a calm state of mind so that way you can generate these thoughts and this flow to your daily living. These are things that I've started doing over the course of the last few months. More so now over the last 3 weeks. And so it is possible to get yourself out of that rut. It is possible to get yourself out of this dark state of mind because your thoughts come to life. That's how powerful the mind is. And so here we are today in September, in the wild year of 2020 that all of us are going to remember. And the greatest things are happening to me right now in my life through all this craziness that's going on. But why is that? Why? It's because of my thoughts and understanding and realizing that everything that is happening around me and my responses to it is a reflection of who I am and nobody else. When I get cut off in traffic, my reaction to it is, hey man, no, that's not a reflection of that person. That's a reflection of me and who I am. So how do I change my thoughts? Start being more positive about yourself. Quit self-defeating yourself. Quit hating who you are. And realize this. You are in the perfect situation right where you're at in life. Right now, today, you are in the perfect situation. Everything about you was made perfect. Everything. Let that sink in. Let that resonate. Everything about you was made perfect. You had the perfect parents. Well, Mr. Cunningham, I didn't have any parents, but you had somebody to get you where you are, to help you move, navigate. So everybody had the perfect parents, whether that was your traditional mom or dad biologically, or just a friend, right? A mentor, somebody that can help you out. So you are in the perfect situation. You have the perfect parents. You have the perfect failures. You have the perfect defeats that have happened in your life. Everything has been perfect and has led you to today, in the present moment, in this simple present moment, wherever you are, whether you're in the living room watching TV, whether you're in the car right now, whether you're at work listening to this, whether you're sitting in a bar and you're being miserable about yourself because you don't know why life is kicking you in the butt. You're in the perfect situation right now because your story is going to move somebody else if you look to serve other people, right? And that's what I want right now. That's what I want right now. I want to move people. I want to encourage people. I want to impact people. And not for my own personal gain, but for the gain of our society, of the world. 1 million people. That's what we're going to touch. So, with that being said, I'm also going to share information with you. Because again, all of these things that I'm talking about, I'm not making up for my own self. I'm not that smart of a person. Okay? It's just education. And the most successful people in the world choose education over entertainment. Remember that. Okay? So, look at the links in the description below. Okay? Watch them. Hopefully they move you just the same. Hopefully I have moved you just the same. And be looking forward to this next documentation content. This is going to be an everyday thing. Come back and visit with me. Hit like in the description. Thank you so much. God's blessings. I love every single one of you. Take care.